hello, welcome. Are you still here with me? I just did 2 videos already, one for Am I the Asshole, one for r/relationships, and now I'm back with a 3rd one in one day, so it really must be Christmas. I almost didn't because right after I finished my last video, my internet went out. So let's see how it fares here. I want to take a look at dating over 30 in today's video because I haven't done it in a little while, and the last one on relationships seemed like Am I the Asshole because everyone was an asshole. So let's get stuck in then to dating over 30. Double cancellations after 3 weeks of talking. I spent the last 3 weeks FaceTiming with someone I met on the apps. Our conversations were seriously amazing. We talked for hours pretty effortlessly and appeared to have similar values, interests and life goals. We both agreed we enjoyed the connection so far and were excited to continue exploring a relationship with one another. He had been travelling and ran into some health issues, and I had some personal things pop up on my side, so we weren't able to make plans to meet in person until earlier this week. We had our first date planned and he ended up cancelling the day of. He explained he wasn't feeling great from a medical procedure and needed an extra day to rest. Fair enough. I understood completely. He called me later that night and rescheduled our date for the following day and had even researched some restaurants for us to go to. That's promising. However, hours before our second date, he cancels again. He had a good reason to cancel, and again I was understanding. But this time there was no mention of rescheduling, and he went completely silent for 2 days. For me, it wasn't the silence that bothered me. I don't expect frequent communication for someone I'm not dating, let alone from someone I haven't even met yet. What did bother me was being cancelled on twice in a row and not having the date rescheduled. He ended up calling me and I expressed that I didn't like how he didn't reschedule our date after cancelling on me twice in a row, and that the complete silence after the double cancellation made me feel shitty. He said that after hearing that, he decided he doesn't want to meet me anymore. I'm really confused. We had formed a decent connection over the last few weeks for it to end so abruptly. Part of me feels like I dodged a bullet, but also I can't help but think that maybe I was the problem here and expected too much too soon. So, is there a question? There's no question. So, expressed that I didn't like how he didn't reschedule the date after cancelling twice in a row, and then the complete cancellation, then the complete silence after the cancellation made me feel shitty. To be honest, I think that's fair. I mean, like you say, he had valid reasons for the 2 cancellations, and you're like, yeah, okay, fair enough. You've got reasons. But then after the second cancellation, he didn't reschedule. And the first thing I thought of was, well, what are the circumstances under which he cancelled the second time? Maybe that explains his silence later because he was busy dealing with that thing. In which case, I don't really think you can be upset about that because he told you about the thing. And to really be understanding of it, you have to get that that's going to occupy him for whatever period of time until he gets that sorted out. However, if it was something completely unrelated and he's just gone silent for no apparent reason, I can understand feeling a bit like, oh, that was a bit shit. A little bit disappointed, a little bit upset. And I completely believe in like open and honest communication. So I think it was good that you expressed that to him. However, you haven't said exactly what you said and how you said it. So if you were like, look, you should have spoken to me the day after, you should have rescheduled straight away, you should have blah blah blah, whatever, then I can understand how that would put him off. But if it was literally just like, it made me feel a bit shitty, so I wasn't really that happy about the situation, then I could understand that. But I think you have dodged a bullet because clearly whether you were like a bit too much and asking for too much too soon, again, we don't know the exact circumstances, or whether you were totally reasonable in the situation and he just like decided he wasn't interested anymore, clearly you're not compatible in any case. Like, I agree, it does seem pretty abrupt, and again, without you actually saying more about how that conversation went, what was actually said, it's hard to say. But I would say it's only been 3 weeks, you've not even met him yet. Just don't worry about it, just move on. It clearly wasn't meant to be. And you haven't asked a question, so that's all I've got to say about that. Next one. Ooh, Dating profile review. I like these. Well, I say like them, I've only done a couple, but I like to review people's profiles. Okay, hello, I'm looking for suggestions on my Hinge profile. All suggestions, feedback welcome. Thank you. Thank you. So this is Jacob. Why do I feel like I've seen that face before? Jacob, are you recently out of braces, or did you recently have jaw surgery? Because I swear I've seen this photo like earlier today in one of these peer support groups that I'm in for braces or jaw surgery. You just look very, very familiar. Anyway, I don't know. Pick the most underrated LA Zoo? Ah, okay, out of these options, pick the most underrated. LA Zoo have a membership that comes with a guest pass, Norton, Simon, Universal Studios. So am I supposed to pick the most underrated? Or are you I've never used Hinge before in my life, so I don't understand how it works. But yeah. Anyway, we'll get along if you're also kind, silly, empathetic, intellectually curious, and appreciate both exploring new spots and enjoying time in. I mean, I'll be honest, saying empathetic, and intellectually curious does make me feel a little bit, and especially in such a long list, it does make me feel a little bit like this is more you trying to tell me about yourself, because you're saying if you're also these things, does make me feel a little bit like, is this supposed to be some sort of a, I don't know, flex is the right word on your personality, but do you know what I mean? I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it. 29-year-old man, straight, is an analyst, Catholic / spiritual, liberal, speaks English, Spanish, looking for a monogamous long-term relationship. Has a dog, is a Cancer, doesn't smoke or drink. My submission to National Geographic. See, this confused me the last time as well. I think these are captions that you put on yourself. So I'm not that keen on this caption. It just like, I mean, I think it's a shame that they make you put captions because they're always so awkward. Like, I think there was only one in the last dating profile review video that I did, or the last video I did with dating profile reviews. There was only one profile where the captions actually made sense because she was telling us about the context of the event, or like the context of the picture that was taken. And that was interesting. It let me know something about her. But this one, just my submission to National Geographic. Okay, so you know about National Geographic. It's like, you know, it's kind of awkward for me. Me in the wild. Again, doesn't much of a match. You look tall. You look really tall. I mean, these pictures are fine. You know, I'm a fan of like having a proper picture of your actual face so people don't get a surprise, maybe from seeing you far away or whatever. And then full-length pictures are good as well. Out in the wild, doing things. Together we could prep for and run a race. I started running this year and ran my first half marathon in August. Let's go on a run or walk. That last sentence seems redundant, but I mean, this is good because for me, I would be like, I don't want to do that. So I would know that we're incompatible there. But equally, if someone did like running or walking, then this would be a good sign for them that that's maybe something that you can do together or talk about. So that's good. Guess where this photo was taken. Is that like, does Hinge give you like example prompts or example like captions or something? Because like, is this supposed to be fun for me? I don't want to guess where the photo was taken. I really don't care. I mean, unless there was like an interesting story to it, but then the picture has to also look interesting, which it's not. It's just you like having food, which is fine. But again, I just feel like the captions are super awkward. Are they necessary on Hinge? Let me know in the comments. Again, I've never used it in my life. My simple pleasures, fixing things. I like someone who can fix things. I like resourcefulness. Sometimes unsuccessfully, that's okay. Hikes, Eaton Canyon, Claremont Loop, NPR, Tiny Desk. I think NPR is like an American thing. I always hear about it in like, not always, but I only ever hear about it in an American context. I guess it's like some sort of radio program or something. I don't know. Deep conversations, people watching, ice cream. Leave a comment if you want to meet here. Where is it? It just looks like a fucking road with some trees behind it. I don't want to meet there. Like, if you're gonna do that, like if you're gonna put a caption that's like prompting someone or supposed to be enticing someone, make the picture interesting. Make me want to know the story behind that, you know? But if it's just like, it's just any old picture, I'm not going to want to engage with that. So I would say, as me in the wild is, and my submission to National Geographic, as meh as those are, they're better to me than guess where this photo was taken and comment if you want to meet me here, because I'm kind of like, I don't want to, and that's not a good sign. You don't want someone on your profile to think I don't want to, okay? Comment if you've been here. Again, don't know where it is, don't really care to know where it is, but I'm liking the variation in the photos here. You know, some full length ones, and then this one, it's a little bit more cash, sitting down, can see the face a little bit better. And I think that's it. All in all, I think it's an okay profile. It's fairly non-offensive. Still showing a little bit about you. Nothing too bad about it. I think it's fine. It's fine. Would I say yes to this? No, because of the running. No, I jest. But yeah, it's fine. It's certainly not a bad profile, and there's nothing on it that super like puts me off. So yeah. Next one. Do I, 30-year-old female, need to give a heads up before dates about my intentions? So I recently had a Tinder date with a 30-year-old male. We had talked for a few days beforehand, nothing flirtatious, then what's the point? We went to an art museum near me and had coffee. He had an overnight bag. Oh, okay. He had an overnight bag with him, and at the end it said, based on it being Tinder, he was asking my thoughts on him coming over to hook up. Wow. He was very disappointed when I said no. That's so assumptive. I'm really just getting my feet wet after breaking it off with my serious live-in college sweetheart over a year ago. I've since had 2 subsequent romances. Only one was physical, and even that one didn't end up in actual sex because I wasn't ready to engage in casual, since it was just a stark difference from my 7-year relationship, and I couldn't take the plunge without commitment despite knowing him for a few months and 5 dates at that point. I acted stupidly, was very reactive and overthought everything, and basically caused the end of the relationship because of this reluctance, even though I was super into him. What, so it ended because you were reluctant to have sex? That's not cool on his end, okay? Like, if you're not ready for it yet, that's okay, that's not your fault. That's someone else, like, either not respecting your decision or saying that's fine but it's not for me. Do you know what I mean? That's not something that you're at fault for here. Anyway, perhaps more than anyone I've been before, which made it even more stressful. The relationship with my ex-partner was also super complicated and intense due to his temper, so I'm still healing, to be honest. I'm still not ready for casual, but I'm really trying to meet people. I've never kissed people unless we are very into each other or plan to have ongoing dating, but I can tell usually if a guy is extremely my type, I'd be okay with kissing him before the date. Kissing him before the date? How do you kiss someone before you go on a date with them? Like if you're on like apps and stuff. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And even he, like the one above, and even he and I waited until the second date to kiss. However, with the upcoming dates, they are with people not exactly my type, so I'm not sure how I feel yet about kissing them before meeting. How can you kiss someone before meeting them? This does not make sense. I'm pretty prudish, I guess, unless I see a future. I don't like the word prudish because it has negative connotations and it implies that like you should just be like fucking giving your body to anybody in any situation, which is not the case. If you want to move slower because that's what you're comfortable with, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So I don't like the term prudish for that reason. To avoid what happened with the recent Tinder exploration on the museum date, should I warn my 2 upcoming dates I am not looking to hook up? One Tinder date who's a 30-year-old male asked me for coffee. The other one is a 31-year-old male. The other Tinder date was planning a very expensive date, which I switched to coffee. What's a non-awkward way to text this before meeting, and do I have to? You don't have to do anything. My conversations with both have been fun and learning a lot about each other, our careers, but not flirtatious at all. Why are you not flirting with anybody? What's the point in going on Tinder if you're just like not going to be flirtatious? This is confusing to me. However, I can see how it's still Tinder, one might assume, just like the art museum guy did. Yeah, but it doesn't mean you have to have sex with them. Hi, before we meet up, just a heads up that I'm not someone who meets and hooks up. I realise Tinder is probably not the best option to meet people then, so just wanted to give you full info before wasting your time and giving you the chance to cancel. Or should I just cancel both dates? There definitely was a guy I did find recently on an app who, after he initiated and planned the first date, never responded to plan the time, so never met him, who I felt I would have been excited to kiss on a first date because I could tell he was my type. So does this mean I'm wasting these other time? Edit, museum guy took 45-minute train to me, so probably figured only what? So probably figured only worth it? I don't understand what that means. Do you have to tell these people? No, you don't. Will it save you some time and effort? Probably. To be honest, when I was on Tinder, I never met anyone without having the discussion of, so what are you looking for? Because I think that very easily sets the expectation, and it's natural to ask that before you arrange a first date, because you want to know, so what are we doing here? Like, are we on the same page? Are we going to be wasting each other's time type of thing? If you ask that now, after having arranged the date, then it's a bit weird. Only, again, because I feel like you should have talked about that, or not should have, but it would have made more sense to talk about that before. Again, I'm kind of confused about the fact that none of your conversations are flirtatious at all on a dating app. However, if that were me, then I would guess that someone who isn't flirting back with me at all clearly is not just in it for the sex, because if you are, then you're very flirtatious. Do you know what I mean? So I think that was on that guy, the museum guy, to be so assumptive to think that you're going to automatically hook up in the first place, but then also to bring an overnight bag, like I'm fully in, I'm ready to do it, like this is happening type of thing. That's a bit pushy for me. And I don't care how far he travelled, like that was his decision to travel. That's got nothing to do with me. Should you just cancel both dates? No, I think that's a bit much. But I think that makes it sound very much as if like you're nervous and you don't want to go on these dates. So ask yourself why you're really thinking about cancelling these dates. Because if you actually just don't want to go, if you're not interested in these guys, then just don't go. But I wouldn't cancel them just because you don't want to hook up with them. It's like, sure, Tinder has a bit of a reputation, but it's definitely not just all about people hooking up. Like, I talked to a fair few people who wanted to find wives, you know, so... but yeah, so what should you say? I think your thing is too much. Not too much as in like, whoa, calm down, but it's too much as in it's unnecessary. You don't have to be saying all this stuff. You can just say, by the way, just so you know, I'm not looking to hook up. I just wanted to like tell you that before we meet in case that's what you were expecting. You know, you don't need to do this whole big thing. Just like, look, just to make it absolutely clear, I'm not into hooking up. So if that's what you were looking for, just want to, you know, not disappoint you in that respect, you know. But yeah. Don't cancel the dates unless you don't want to see them. Don't call yourself prudish because that's not what it is. That's not what it is. You don't have to tell them, but I think it would be in your benefit to tell them. Next. How long into a relationship does it take for you to start really prioritizing your partner? In what sense, my dear? So I've been dating this girl for 5 months now, only been dating officially for the last month and a half. I would say we've had serious milestones at this point, but I feel like I'm left wanting more from this. I feel like I'm an afterthought to my girlfriend's weekly plans. Well, for me, I already consider her to be a priority when I'm trying to make plans. I used to see her more frequently in a week, but now I only see her once, and if I'm lucky, twice in a week, and that's always up to her on if we're seeing each other or not. I know she procrastinates at work when she's stressed, and sometimes this leads to us not seeing each other or her even cancelling plans. I'm not wanting her to prioritise me over work. I try to be understanding and not an extra burden. This week, she wanted to just relax for the holidays, which I said that sounds good to me, but then she asked if we could postpone hanging out and just see each other on New Year's Eve instead. She's introverted like myself and wouldn't be that busy without her work. She's told me I don't make her feel socially drained, but I can't help but feeling neglected regardless. People prioritise the things and people which matter to them, and I'm starting to feel like my need to feel wanted in this relationship isn't being met. I understand at the beginning of a relationship, people have other priorities, and the person you're dating might be lower on your list of priorities. So I'm curious how long it generally takes for your significant other to start becoming more of a priority in your life. This isn't a timeline thing. This isn't like, oh, it's been 4 months, now you're a priority. It doesn't work like that. To me, it's a case of, one, how into each other you actually are, and then two, just like your natural like rhythm, way of doing things, like how you're comfortable in a relationship. Because like for me, my doorbell just went. I'm not expecting anyone though, so I'm going to ignore it. I think it's probably like a delivery for someone else. I'm busy. What was I saying? Yeah, so for me, like only ever seeing someone once in a week, I would be like, maybe that's like not quite enough for me. But other people would be like, that's fucking plenty, you know? So part of it, as I say, is how into each other you actually are. I do believe that if you want something to happen, then you make it happen. You know, you make the arrangements, you ask the other person, when are we seeing each other again, and so on and so forth. And if you're either not that into it, or you're actually fine with the way things are currently going, then you may not be so inclined to initiate because it's fine for you already. But where there seems to be a mismatch here is either they're not as into you as you are into them, or it's just that you have like different wants, different needs in terms of the relationship, in which case, I mean, in any case, I think you should talk about it. I think you should just let them know that. But I don't think that you should jump into this feeling of like, oh, it's been however many months and you're not making me a priority. This is like an issue for me. Do you know what I mean? Again, I don't think it's about the timeline. It's not about just like it's been so however many weeks or months and then it's time for some change or whatever. I think, you know, as you say, you feel like your needs aren't being met. So talk to them about your needs, make that more explicit. So that they actually know, and then they have the chance either to say, well, I'm actually fine with it the way that it is currently, or they say, well, actually the reason why is because of X, Y, Z. Or maybe even they say, oh, didn't realise, yeah, I would be happy to like get together more often as well. I'll make more of an effort. Do you know what I mean? So definitely talk about it, but don't like base it off other people. You know, I get that a lot of people want to know whether or not like their situation is normal. But I think that in relationships, it's not always about what's normal. It's about what like suits you both and what's healthy for you both. You know what I mean? Yeah. Next one. Oh, another profile review. I'd love some insights on my dating profile and photos. I haven't had much luck recently in the dating world. I usually have a pic of me friends, my friends and me. However, I didn't have one at the moment. Okay. I'm also looking for someone that shares a passion for the outdoors. Please and thank you. Let's take a look, shall we? Shall we? Got so many tabs. Wait, where did the last one go? I feel like the last tab just disappeared. Sorry, anyway, me in the wild. Do people just say that, or is this what Hinge makes you do? Anyway. That picture's not the best. It's blurry and it looks distorted. So I certainly wouldn't have that for the first picture. It's just not the best one quality-wise. You're using he, him, his pronouns. Who? Me? You? I don't know what that means. That just seems so random. Like, is that related to a photo? Or like, do you know what I mean? Where did that come from? Anyway, life outtake, isn't that supposed to be like a mistake or a blunder? What is it, because the hood is flying or something? I don't know. I don't really like this picture either because it's so dark. Again, the quality isn't very good. Sure, it's good to have a full-length picture, but there's so much shadow on the face. It's such a dull photo. I wouldn't have that one either, to be honest. A special talent of mine. I don't know what I'm looking at. I literally don't know what I'm looking at, so I don't want this either. I think the caption is fine if it made sense. Like if it was to see you like glass blowing or juggling or something like that, then it would be a decent caption. But I don't know what's going on in this picture, so you're 0 for 3 so far, pal. I get along best with people who have a sense of adventure and willingness to experience new things. Fair enough, I like that. This picture also looks distorted. Like it looks smooshed. What's wrong with all your pictures that they look weird? And you also look like completely different people as well. Again, this one is such bad quality, it's so dark. You look like different people, honestly. And this one is like, can't even see the person. Yeah, it's weird. The one thing I'd love to know about you is what's your passion and makes your heart sing? That's okay, that's fair enough. I'm conflicted about this. This is a better picture in terms of quality, but in terms of that you have the wig on, then it's covering a lot of your face. If this was an additional picture to other good ones, it would be totally fine. Shows a bit of sense of humour, shows that you're having a bit of fun. But given that this is the only picture so far that's actually of a decent quality, it's not so good in that sense. Do you know what I mean? You definitely need better pictures. You look totally different. Dating me will look like a totally different guy. I don't know who I'm getting. My suspicion is that these pictures are taken so wildly apart in terms of like time frame that you just genuinely look different. Like and like and all these pictures that you just do look different because you did look different at the time. So that's one thing. Try and have like pictures like at least within like the last year or two, unless you've had some, you know, big physical transformation. Like for example, like I'm not on dating apps, but if I was, and after I had jaw surgery, major face altering surgery, then I would have new pictures. Do you know what I mean? Not just putting all the old ones where I don't even look like that anymore. And dating though will look like what? A rock? Rocks? Like, I don't like that caption. I don't like the picture. It's just not very good. I get along best with people who, wait, wasn't that already a thing? I get along best with people who, can you do that, the same question twice? I get along best with people who have a sense of adventure and willingness to experience new things. Wait, we already read that one. So that's just a doubler, right? Yeah, that's just again. Anyway, typical Sunday, finding and planning for new adventures. Love to relax at home, enjoying some downtime editing my photography or reading. You're a photographer and that's the kind of pictures you want to give me? That's not good, man. You should have better pictures if you're going to say you're into photography. Or reading. I like to hit the farmer's market and a coffee shop as well. That's a lot. What the fuck is that? It's not the best profile. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not the best profile, mainly because of the pictures, not anything to do with you in the pictures, but again, the quality of the pictures. You want to have a mix between like headshots and full body pics, which you do have, which is good. But the problem is that all but one of the pictures was very bad quality. So yeah, just get better pictures. The text in it like wasn't so bad. I feel like actually like you were missing out parts of your profile. Like in the last one, it had more kind of like not stats, but kind of like metadata. Do you know what I mean? So I'm suspecting that we're not seeing the full profile there. But what did you say? Have some insights on the profile. Haven't had much luck recently in the dating world. I think it's because your pictures aren't very clear and you look so wildly different in all of them. People just don't know what to expect from you. They don't know what you're going to get. Or they don't know what they're going to get. So improve those and I suspect you should have better luck. Next and final one. Does my situation make me undateable? Probably not, because people always like, they're like, oh, I've only ever had one boyfriend. Does that make me undateable? You know, it's like, anyway. I have a bit of a peculiar life situation and I'm wondering if I should adjust my expectations accordingly. So I am a 30-year-old man living in a large Midwestern city. I'm a professional musician, bassoon, performing in orchestras in a couple states and teach locally at a university as an adjunct professor of bassoon. I also work from home running an online music store where I sell bassoon reeds wholesale to music suppliers and individually across the US. I'm also writing my thesis for my doctorate in music. So you're very into music and you're busy. I just feel like that could have been said a lot shorter. I live with my aunt and cousin in a suburb because rent is too expensive without a roommate or partner. It takes about 45k to live on your own and it not be in a dangerous part of town. I moved here also because most of my extended family lives here. My dad is buried here and my mum, now in her mid-60s, lives in my hometown a couple of years away. I'm her only son, so I don't have any siblings to help me take care of her as she gets old, so I don't want to live more than a few hours away if I can help it. I'm not seeing anything unusual here. This is like pretty fucking normal. I had a partner for about 3 years during grad school. She was in the same programme as I was with almost identical career aspirations. We broke up in 2020 and it wasn't a happy situation when it ended at all. We still had some professional obligations too, which made things challenging as well. How long is this going to go on for? Oh my god. Okay, I'm not, like, let's pick another one, because that's just fucking, you're just going on and on and on, and I don't think this is relevant. Reservations about a third date from someone to see me out of town. Let's see. Where's my... I've got too many tabs. Give me a sec. Too many tabs. Where am I? Okay. We're back. Reservations about a third date with someone who came to see me from out of town. When I was visiting Boston from Philadelphia recently, I went on a date with a guy I matched with there. It was a fun date. We got a little drunk and kissed at the end. The thought of kissing him had not crossed my mind, but he initiated it and I was just drunk enough to engage. He suggested coming to see me and some of my friends he has in the area in Philly during this holiday week. I warned him that I may not be too available because I'm trying to create me time and that him coming in January might be less pressure on us. He said he has been meaning to spend time with his friends anyway and we picked one day for us to hang out, which I was fine with. Ever since then, there's been some scope creep. We had originally planned to meet today, but he somehow convinced me to go out last night as well. He came on pretty strong physically. I didn't resist even though I wasn't feeling it, maybe because I felt guilty about him having come all the way, but he went to visit his friends, okay? Don't think about, like, you don't owe anyone anything just because they fucking physically showed up. Do you know what I mean? Don't get yourself in that headspace. I'm sensing that he's ready to take it to the next step physically tonight, and that makes me very uncomfortable. While things are probably not going to work out, I'm glad we met again and gave it a shot. How do I say no to sex while communicating the above? Thanks in advance. I wouldn't go. Like, don't just not show up, but I wouldn't go. Like you say, you're trying to create me time, but he somehow convinced you to go out last night, which is fine. You know, maybe you were feeling in the mood and you were like, yeah, fuck it, I could go out. But then to be physically too much, that's for sure a red flag. And like, you're not even really that into him either. Like, you're glad you met him, but that's about it. And the thought of him wanting to get physical tonight makes you very uncomfortable. I would say don't waste either of your time, firstly, and secondly, don't put yourself in a potential position of danger where he will either try and get physical with you regardless, or he'll get mad at what you're saying, which is basically rejecting him. Do you know what I mean? So I would just message him saying like, hey, it was good to see you last night. However, I've kind of realised that like I'm not really that into you that way, so I don't think it makes any sense for us to meet today. I hope that's okay for you. Glad I met you in any case. Hope you enjoy the rest of your trip. Do you know what I mean? Like, keep it nice, keep it light. But he is there to see friends, and then he just so happens to make plans with you as well. So he didn't come out just to see you. And even if he did, it doesn't mean that you owe him anything. It doesn't matter if he was on his train for 45 minutes and then you went to the museum. It does not matter. Okay? So how do you say no to sex? Say no to the date. Or if you were already on the date and then at that point you realise that it's not for you, I would just like let the date come to a natural ending, you know, like say for example, you go on the date and he's perfectly nice and he's like fine to be around, you're not uncomfortable on the date, but you're just like, I'm not into this. I would just let the date come to an end, you know, like if you're at dinner and they say, do you want to go for a drink as well? Just say, nah, I really should be getting home now, I need to get up early in the morning or whatever it is. It was nice to see you, good night. Instead of going for the drink. If you're already having drinks, hey, do you want another one? Nah, actually, I think I'm pretty good. I'm thinking about heading home anyway. Okay? And then if they're particularly pushy and they're like, hey, like, your place or mine, just say, actually, like, I enjoyed myself on the date, but I think I'm just not into you that way. So I think it'll be going home separately, you know, just kind of make it like a little bit again, like light, and make a little bit of an awkward joke of it, you know, like, yeah, I think both, but separately. I'll go to my place, you go to your place, and then we'll part ways. It doesn't have to be a big deal. I think the more of a deal you make of it, the more of a deal it becomes. But yeah, it's like casual, you know, again, just let things end naturally if you're already on the date. But if you're not on the date, then just cancel the date. Okay, that was the last one I had for you. How did you find that? Haven't done dating over 30 in a while. I tend to find that these ones are a bit different to just the normal dating advice ones or the relationship advice ones, because I feel like you get a lot of the same things over and over again. So I do quite like this subreddit. Try and do it again more in the future. Although it doesn't get as much action as the other ones, that's the only thing. Not as many posts. But in any case, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any other thoughts or advice to give these people, let us know in the comments. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you again next time. Bye bye, bye bye, bye.